Sure.
Any question? No. I ain't.
Abby said we should do once a month. I think we should.
I've worked with hundreds of women entrepreneurs to help them market their businesses. Behind their businesses, they all have stories to tell. Whether it's battling mommy guilt, starting a business after being fired from a six-figure job, or realizing they needed to pivot and forge an uncharted path, they've all experienced something on their journey to success. I'm one of these women too, and I'm here to share our stories on Bright Girls in Business. What is up, everybody? We are back with another episode of Bright Girls in Business. I am your host, Chanel Yarber, and I always say, I'm excited. I really am, like, literally excited when I come on air. I have a great time every week. And so I want you to get excited. I want you to engage with me and talk back with me in the comments and all that good stuff. Because today we are back to talk about a topic that we talked about in November before I took my little holiday hiatus.
Your
and we're
hiatus?
talking, yeah, I went on don't do that. I took a holiday hiatus. And before we went on break, we talked about what men want and what women need. And so this time we're going to flip the script. We're going to actually talk about it again with the same guest, Mr. Nelson White. So welcome, Nelson, back to the show.
What's up?
So wait, we got a couple things.
Yep.
First of all, when we were on last time,
Right.
we got a lot of good feedback.
Right.
Like, we need to take this show on the road type thing, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess people really like this. And they were like, well, y'all didn't really get into the topic. Y'all didn't really answer the question and all that other good stuff. So, audience, let me tell y'all what's so hilarious is that I brought my iPad today because I couldn't get my script to print out. So I was like, oh, how am I going to do this? Let me bring my iPad. Simple, easy, cool. So I bring my iPad in here, and I'm looking, and Nelson walks in, and now he has his computer. So y'all, he talking about he gonna do some.
I'm ready.
He talking about he gonna do some research.
I've done my research. I'm ready. We're gonna let this thing air out because a lot of people had more questions, and I wrote down some questions and I did some research and had some life experiences. So I think it's gonna be
ready?
fun.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Okay, y'all. So here's the deal. Because I have my iPad, this is the first time I've ever done this, I want y'all to sound off in the comments. I want to hear from y'all. I want y'all to tap into the conversation, engage with us, share your experiences, share your thoughts, all that good stuff, because we're going to be talking back and forth. And at the end of the show, I'm going to drop something. Stay tuned for the end of the show. I'm going to give you a surprise. Nelson don't even know what the surprise is.
Uh-oh.
But we're going to get into it. All right. So you know my audience, mainly women entrepreneurs, right?
Right.
Career women, all those things, you know. And in talking to y'all, my male friends,
Right.
we get on this topic about the boss chick.
Right.
Okay? I'm not going to air nobody out. Okay. We get on the topic about the boss chick.
The boss chick.
Quite often. So what is your take on the boss chick? And I ask it because in the context of the fact that a lot of single women, career women, you know, a lot of career women are single. There we go.
Right.
So what is it? What's your take on it?
I can only share my opinion.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
And my experiences.
All right.
Being single, I've been divorced. And dating, I've dated. And I have met a lot of single women with great careers, the boss chick. And I personally don't call them the boss chick, but I know what you mean when you say that. Successful, career on the move, can dictate or call their own shots, right? Those are the things that exemplifies the boss chick. And the question that I get from women is, why aren't these women selected? Mm-hmm. Why is it guys will say, I'm gonna go east when they're west, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so I know that I have met and dated women that are very successful. And when we talk about those things men look for, they're totally opposite of the boss chick.
Totally opposite.
So we let's just we were talking about things men need.
Okay. That's what we're here for, yeah.
And so I did a little research. I was looking in psychology today. There was a good writer, Eric Jaffe, good writer in psychology today.
I'm gonna need you not to be going to psychology today on me. Wait a minute.
Because,
you too prepared.
No, because you have to, you just can't be rambling off stuff. I won't be rambling off nothing.
Okay, go ahead.
But he was talking about these things men need. And he used very soft words, which when I first read, I'm like, how do you explain that? But then he used like the first three. He said his heart. A man needs heart, a woman's heart, her attention, and respect. Okay. And when he says heart, he means a place to be vulnerable. Now, when you look at what we say, the boss chick, because that was just the term that was given. I'm not saying anybody is or isn't. Those things aren't characterized in boss chicks.
Okay. Are you sure?
But because so they're usually dominant.
Okay.
In their field. Am I correct?
Okay. I'm following.
Do what they want to do, how they want to do it. Live their own lives the way they want to.
Okay.
So that's just from the outside.
Yes.
So we only see you from the outside.
Okay.
Correct? So I see that from the outside. I don't get to know who you are until we get to communicate. But initially, if I see all that the boss chick is, it's not attractive. It's not what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Not saying you don't have that, but the appearance may say, well, that's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking for.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with you because I'm not a man. And I don't know how men look at women. But I have a good question that's here in the comments that I want to pose to you because I'm going to speak from my experience. I don't have psychology today. Okay, I ain't got psychology today going for me. But I'm going to speak from my experience because a lot of men that I've encountered, tried to connect with, dated, whatever, I've learned over the years not to lead with telling them even what I do at all until and unless we get to a point where we're really engaged and we're locked in and it somehow like comes up in conversation. Sometimes they know just because maybe we met networking or somebody introduced me and they're like, oh, she blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, oh, sometimes I feel like, why did you out me? Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, I've struggled with this because on the one hand, I hear what you're saying, and when men know what I do, they initially go in on me about, oh, let's partner up on business. Right?
Right.
Let's partner up on business. Let's get this, and that going. And what do you think? Let me pick your brain. That's what they want to do. They want to take me on coffee dates to pick my brain.
Right.
Happens all the time. And it started really pissing me off because I'm like, what the hell? Like, I am not here to be your consultant. I am here, like, I'm trying to connect with you. Like, if you want to talk to me as a consultant, you got to pay some hours. Like,
right.
I'm going to invoice you. So I stopped telling people what I do altogether. Right now, I tell people I work at a bank. For all you know, I'm the teller or I'm the janitor. I don't tell you, whatever. I work at a bank. But on the flip side of that, for me, sometimes I feel like, do I have to just keep dumbing myself down to be attractive?
Is it dumbing yourself down, or is it revealing what might be attractive to someone else? I'm not saying you don't have to deny what you do. You don't have to, say, hey, I'm no longer this, or hide that. I'm just saying don't lead with it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so let's say if I look you up on Instagram, and your Instagram name is Boss Chick 190.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, right. That's your name, and I flipped your Instagram, and you boss chicken. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
All the things that you does that attract most men? Probably not. Probably not. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not saying you have to deny that. And once again, this is my opinion. I'm not saying you have to deny that.
Okay.
But I'm saying you can't lead with that.
All right. So one of my viewers here asks, does dominance equal lack of vulnerability? And I will answer that question first, because I feel like we're talking about women, and I can speak from a dominant woman's perspective. If I'm dominant, I don't really feel like I'm dominant. How can I say this? I'm dominant in spaces where I need to be. Okay?
Okay.
I am dominant in spaces where I need to be. But when I am given a space to be vulnerable, just like you spoke of men needing a space to be vulnerable with a heart, if I'm given that space to be vulnerable, then all gloves are off and I'm putty in your hands. But you have to give me a reason to pull back. I'm not just going to melt in your arms just because you showed up and you got a XY chromosome.
I feel you, but let's switch that.
Okay.
Because when I'm referencing this, I'm talking about a space for a man to be vulnerable.
Right. And women need space to be vulnerable.
I get that, but that's a given for us. We assume that that's given. We assume that women are emotional, so therefore there has to be a space for that. Not saying it's going to be there, but there has to be a space for that. But for a guy, especially a black man, to be vulnerable and say how he feels and for it to be protected, that's the soft spot. And don't get me wrong.
I'm learning.
I'm not saying women can't do it. I'm not saying that it can't be done. It happens all the time. All I'm saying is when you look at that against the boss chick, and you look at what men desire, most men desire. I'm not saying every man, but a lot of my friends would love to be heard. No, they would love to be listened to.
Hold on. Okay, let's go, because that's my next question.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna set it up. I gotta tell the audience what we did some homework behind the scenes, y'all. I gave Nelson a project as well as myself, and it is for us to come up with 5 things that men want and need, and 5 things that women want and need, and we're coming to the table. He hasn't seen my notes. I haven't seen his. And we're going to compare notes and see if we have the right or wrong perceptions of each other.
Cool.
And if we match up on some of these things, we're going to get to the bottom of why we can't just seem to.
Cool.
All right?
Yep.
All right, let's go. So tell me, what do men really want and need in a relationship? 5 things.
So there's some things, I like these things that I found. Talked to a couple of brothers, and they like these 5 things. And I'm going to share. The first one is heart. It's a place to be vulnerable.
Okay.
Attention. Someone who can listen, not just hear.
That's a good one.
Respect. Being a person who can encourage you in a genuine way. Freedom. Space to be who you need to be. And when I say that, it is a lot of times, I've seen it from men and women, we get into relationships and the relationship becomes the person.
Yeah.
And you lose that
Lose
freedom
yourself.
on both sides. Men and
Yes.
women, on both sides.
Oh, God. It's scary.
On both sides. And so that freedom and trust,
Okay.
open to him being who he is. There's more to that.
I'm like, wait,
but
you got more than 5? I can't.
No, but I got my 5. Let's see
All
what
right.
you got.
Here's what I have. What men really want and need in a relationship. 1, respect. All right, so
Okay.
we match
We-
there. 2, a safe space to land physically, financially, emotionally, and spiritually.
We say that's hard. Okay.
All right, so he needs a safe space to land. He needs to know he can trust you with his money, his heart. You know, you're going to cover him in prayer, spiritual, all of that. All right, safe space to land. A cheerleader, someone who feeds their ego. All right,
Okay.
that's on your list. Check it off.
Yep, okay.
All right, check your list now.
I got you.
All right. Physical and visual stimulation. Y'all know y'all like the big booties and the, curves. And y'all like to, y'all, if it, listen, I tell, listen, y'all,
Okay. Okay.
that's why these BBLs out here winning.
Y'all do that for yourselves, though.
Okay.
We go ahead. We get into that. That'll be another show. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Someone to do chores, cook, clean, make your house a home, take care of the kids, make your plate, etc. That's not important. He's shaking his head. He said, no, that ain't important. So she could not do all of that stuff. And it don't matter.
It ain't something most people that are single, that are grown, that ain't on the list no more.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Because you figured it out. You maintain your place, I maintain my place, so we ain't worried about who gonna kind of do the chores.
Single and grown. Take notes, ladies. Find a grown man, because a lot of these men want women to do chores. Anyway, and the honorable mention was, of course, great sex, which goes into physical and visual stimulation.
Okay.
All right. So what did I miss? What's the score? I think I got like a 75%.
Yeah, you got 75. I give you 75%.
Damn, I got a C.
But let's talk about those common things.
All
Let's
right.
talk about. You're right. If we agree that a place to be vulnerable, if we agree on that,
Yeah.
right, then that should be simple.
Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about respect, or someone who can encourage you. Right.
Yep.
We agree on that.
Yes.
Someone who can listen. Okay? Or freedom, space where you can be who you can be.
Okay.
Those items are very common. Right?
Commonly
between
found.
men and women.
Common between. Okay, yeah. There we go.
And I want to kind of shift a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
So some things happened to me in the last couple of days that forced me to look at my life different. So I called a good spiritual friend of mine, mentor of mine, and we talked. And I kind of, told him what was going on, and I told him what was happening within some relationships. And I thought it was negative. But he reminded me with one question. What is the purpose of a relationship? And he said, the things that are going wrong for the right reason.
Yeah.
And he was like, when we're talking about relationships, and I had to be honest with him, I've been dealing with people with no real reason.
We talked about this last
No real reason.
time.
And
We
so,
talked about
so when
this.
someone comes into your life with a reason, beyond a physical reason,
Yes.
beyond, so I believe metaphysically we're here to help. We're here to help one another.
We're all one. That's right.
We're the
connected.
only creature that
That's right.
needs the other creature.
Absolutely.
Right? So I believe metaphysically, our spirits are here to help one another. That's just my personal belief. And when people come into your life and they shake it up, a lot of times we're not looking at them in the way we need to look at them for growth.
Ooh, come on.
So
this
we
is so
miss
good.
relationships. We miss relationships, or the relationship takes a turn.
Yes.
It takes a turn, and you're like, well, what happened to that? Well, it wasn't for the outside relationship. It was for your spiritual growth. It
Absolutely.
was for your life growth. It was for you to become a better person. And a lot of us like to think that we're perfect. Like, I'm complete. I'm great. So when someone comes in
and knock you off your square, because they will.
Or they look at you and say, well, there's no place for me to connect beyond the relationship, we just girlfriend or boyfriend. It doesn't grow. Mm-hmm. But then there's people that come in your life that stand in your face and mess up everything, shake you around. And it's because they're there to move you
to another place.
In another place.
Absolutely.
And so I had to accept, like, damn, dude, this person is slapping you around because, it's time for you to move. And they're like, yo, bro, I only got a little time to move you. And this has happened time and time again in my life. Mm. So I think a lot of us, when it comes to relationships, we're looking for a relationship for the outside.
And for comfort.
And has very little to do with the outside and a lot to do with the inside.
Yeah.
And when we don't connect on the inside, we get these bumper car thing where we bump into people, and we bump into people, and we bump into people, and then we're just moving around like bumper cars. Because nothing is happening on any other level than the ego level. Mm-hmm. But when a person comes and they look at you and you look at them beyond the ego level, and your souls link up, because that's some stuff you really don't get to deal with, the inner soul stuff.
You getting into,
you know what I'm saying? That's
you
soul
taking
stuff.
me there, man.
I'm just saying.
So
these are things that I have to admit. I had to look at these relationships and say, dude, Nelson was looking at this one way, but my inner self was saying, yo, bro, this person's trying to wake you up.
Yep.
And it's happened time and time again. So this time, it won't take months for me to say, okay, let me step back. Let me rearrange some things, because generally when a good relationship happens, it happens on a lot of different levels. Am I right?
Yeah.
It happens on the outside. It happens on the inside. You change mentally, emotionally, physically. Sex becomes different. Right?
Yeah. You preaching.
So.
What an offering. What an offering.
I'm passing the plate after this. I'm passing the plate.
Send the cash out.
I'm passing the plate.
No, just kidding. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. So I when we started talking about the 5 things, my mind just started going.
Yeah.
And like I said, I started looking at some of my old metaphysical texts. And I'm like, bro,
this is real.
You fail in class now.
This is real. I'm gonna tell you why this is so real to me, and like my spirit is stirred for real. I wasn't expecting this conversation to go here, but last year I found myself in a situation with someone that I knew. And this connection is real. It's just different than like most. And I'm like, what is this conflict? What you're talking about? Like, what is this conflict? Why? On so many levels, there's agreement, right? There's peace, there's agreement, like see eye to eye. But then like internally, it's just like turmoil. Right. Oh my God, I almost want to like cuss at you.
Right.
And when I took a step back, and it all fell out. It was what it was. I went through a whole journey after that situation. I mean, you
Right. We talked about it.
We talked about it. I went through a whole journey, and when I tell you, I'm so great. Like, I found myself telling him thank you a lot. Like, thank you. Because it was so many areas of my life that I was blinded or blindsided, or I've been single, I've been by myself all this time, I've been in my own world, I've been doing me, whatever, not really considering anything or anybody other than what I want, going back to the boss chick that you just spoke of, whatever. And I had to really take an assessment of who is Chanel, what does Chanel want, how does she show up in the world, not just, to friends and family, but like, I started thinking about like real life, like motherhood and partnership and building things and stuff that I had written it off as something that was not gonna ever happen for me. Mm-hmm. So to your point of when it happens again, it ain't gonna take you. I'm with you. Keep going. I'm locked in. I'm like,
so check this out. So in us talking this week, in us talking about getting ready for this. I heard something yesterday, and like these pieces have been falling. It looked like it was falling apart.
Yes,
but it was falling together. It was falling together.
Get up and run around this room.
It was falling, and so I heard yesterday. This guy said, I'm paraphrasing. He said, "Nothing changes on the outside. Everything changes on the inside." Mm-hmm. So how you see a situation is not going to change, but how you change how you see it and what you do with that information is the change that has to happen. And I had to go back and look at these things that were rocking my world and say, dang, okay. It's how I'm looking at this.
Yeah, your perspective
you know what I mean?
is
And
everything.
how the story Nelson is telling himself about this. But the only change that can happen is inside my head. And so when it comes to relationships, I had to look at this stuff that's going around and say, oh, dang, no need. Okay, I see what that's for. I see what this person's been saying. Oh, I get that. Male and female. Oh, I get that. I not see that. But I wasn't looking inside. I was looking on the outside.
Yeah.
Look at.
It's easy to do. It's very easy to get caught up in looking at what everybody else is doing, blaming everybody else around you for oh, this is happening to me. No. It's not happening to you. It's happening either for you or you are the catalyst to why something is happening. Right. I had to internalize that because I kept saying, why I can't find nobody and why, they don't, no, Chanel, let me tell you, after my guest last week.
Right, which I enjoyed.
Man, I wasn't even going here. Why you got me going here? So after we left here last week, we went to dinner and had a great conversation about what we're, a spiritual, straight, like deep conversation. And I got to going on and talking about, this whole relationship thing. And we talked about, people bringing it up and it triggering you as a single woman. They want to ask you, where your kids? Where your husband? Where your kids? You, it's time for you to whatever. And so as she was talking, I was like, I've been trying to figure this thing out. And I said, I feel like I'm in the midst of a breakthrough. At the table, like I knew in that moment I was going to get my answer. I had prayed about it that morning. But I knew at the table I was going to get the answer, right? So I'm like, we're going around, we're talking. It dawned on me in that moment. It was almost like somebody sat next to me, whispered in my ear, told me the answer in the middle of my conversation. And so I have my answer. I'm going to share the answer because it might help somebody. So one of the things as I've gone around and I've asked, why haven't I met anybody? Why, when I meet people, they don't stick around or whatever the case. And I've carried this thing like it's been heavy on me for years because I started praying for a husband 20 years ago this year. It's been since 2003. I remember the day. I remember where I was when I started praying for a mate. To your point, I didn't have a why. I didn't have a purpose at that point. I was young. I was 20 years old. But I knew I wanted to be married, 21. I knew I wanted to be married. So anyway, but I'm like, I've been praying about this for 20 years. And like, I'm seeing these chicks out here. They done had 3 husbands and 4 baby daddies. And, you know what I'm saying? Like what? Anyway, so something that my friends would always say is, what are you giving off? What are you giving off? Y'all have even asked me, what are you giving off? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm giving off. You know, get out. I don't know what I'm giving off. But that was my trigger. But until I sat with myself and I realized I was giving off distrust.
Wow.
I was giving off distrust. And when I go back and I think about just my childhood, my early life and all of that, I never had a good relationship with men, males, period. I remember being afraid of men, like when I was younger. And that just comes out of the relationship that I had with my father as a kid. And so I always had let me step back and let me see first. Let me see. Like, a real live wall up. But I didn't realize I was still carrying that because, I got Charlotte's friends. I connect with people. I go out, I network, I talk, whatever. I'm not afraid of people, and I'm not afraid of men anymore, but I still carry that spirit. And so, and then also a spirit of rejection because when you have the wall up, people ain't seeing you. They ain't coming close. So now you're getting rejected. So now everywhere you go, that rejection is like, it's like a perfume that enters the room before you get there. And so I say that to go back to my boss chicks that are watching. And your first comment about vulnerability, right? Sometimes, ladies, we just gotta lay it down. We gotta armor up. We got our armor up. And we don't always see it. We might not think we do. We might think, oh, no, I'm not like that. Or I don't have that issue. Or me and my dad were great. Or whatever you think. And that's fine. It's your thing to work out. But for me, that was my thing. And so now, that's what I'm working on. It's not about me trusting you as the man. It's me trusting me.
Wow.
It's me trusting me because I'm only reflecting what is inside me.
Right.
So if I trust me to make good decisions, to have,
right,
to protect myself and not protect myself, but I'm good.
Right.
If I trust me and I trust God, why can't I let my guard down and allow myself to trust you?
I think. Wow. That first of all, that's beautiful.
That's just me. I don't know about nobody else.
That's beautiful to accept where you are. To do the deeper work. For me, I do a lot of praying, but my stuff happens to me in accidents. Like, oh, that's just how my life has been. I've always wanted a mate. But just like you, I had a wall up that says, prove it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And part of my learning in the last couple of days is it's unnecessary and it's hurtful. But that was, prove it. Let me see if you, can you prove it? And it's extra work for someone. But the people, I'm grateful for the people who came and said, yeah, I'm going to shake that up. I'm going to shake all that up and your insecurities and knock that out the way.
Man.
So you can actually avail yourself to someone. Beautiful thing. The best thing we can do for a relationship is work on ourselves.
Absolutely.
And listen to the feedback we get.
Come on. Listen, Linda.
Listen to the feedback we get. Because people are talking, and especially there are people that we connect with. I don't know if they're relationship people. You connect with someone that says, hey, I see this, or something will happen that will trigger you. Mm-hmm. My first instinct is to run, but it has made me, as of late, turn and look at that and say, okay, gotta do something with that. Gotta do something with that.
So, oh man, this is so good. Oh man, I'm stirred up, but I gotta get to the women.
Okay, let's get to it. Let's
I gotta get to the women.
Let's switch it up.
So let's switch it up real quick. Mm-hmm. And y'all, oh man, this is so good. Okay, so I'm gonna share with you what women really want and really need.
Let me get my pen out.
Yeah, take some notes.
I'm taking notes. Fellas, I'm good to notes.
Hey, I always give you free game. It's whether or not you're going to take it and run with it, though.
You know, you always put me up on free game.
I do put you up on free game.
I appreciate
it. You do the same
game.
for me, though. I appreciate that. So here's what women really want and need. Mm-hmm. Loyalty, meaning I am your one and only priority, that you are for me. Like, hands down.
Okay.
For me. Mm-hmm. Period. All right? Some of y'all, we ain't gonna go there. Honesty. That's gonna give us that place to be trusting of you, to feel safe, and to let that guard down.
Okay.
All right? Leadership. Somebody who has a vision, takes action, somebody we can follow, and back to trust. Trust that you're going to make the right decisions for us and our family.
Okay.
All right. Emotional intelligence.
What?
Yes. Meaning, when I come to you and I have an issue or I need to share or whatever, just like you said, you need somebody to listen and all that other good stuff, we need that same thing too.
Okay.
All right. To be protected, covered, and taken care of. Meaning, somebody run up in this house, I don't need you running behind me. I don't want to be the one out there with the shotgun.
What?
No.
That's why we went to the range.
Right,
I was trying to get you ready.
You're trying to get me right. You're trying to get me set up. No, for real. Knowing that, I'm going to come home and I got food in my refrigerator. My lights is on. I ain't got to worry about nothing. I'm good. I can come into this space and I can be that soft person that you need me to be. Don't create a situation where I have to become dominant. Let me be the woman that you want me to be. But create that space for me to be there and to be that woman that you want me to be.
Let me go through.
And the honorable mention.
Okay, let's get the honorable.
Fire sex. They all said it. I had to put it out there. Because I asked women and they was like, I'm like, okay, girls, let's go. I'm gonna tell them.
All right. So the honorable mention. Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Now, let's just say you took the 20-80 rule.
Okay.
Or
let's say 80-20. Can we get
80? 80-20.
Okay.
Let's do 80. I'm sorry, the 80-20 rule.
Jesus.
You take the 80-20 rule.
Okay.
Give me the 80-20 out of this. But let me explain. I'm a whole man.
Yeah.
I've been here for 50-some years.
Okay.
At any given moment, I may be struggling with one of these. Just being honest.
All right.
Just being honest, because of the life that I've led, the things that have happened to me, my whole life.
So you need some grace, is what you're saying.
I'm probably going to need some grace in some of these. And other thing, when it comes to a reason for a relationship, I know two of these a woman has taught me. Mm-hmm. I didn't get it as a single man. Mm. But in my marriage, my mate helped me understand this. I'm going to help you with this. I didn't get it. You know what I mean? I didn't walk in with it.
Okay.
So 80-20.
So
okay?
Before we get to this 80-20, if you give me the 80-20 and the grace, I just scored 75 on the test. That puts me up to like 95. So I got an A now.
Oh, you're wrong.
Hey. I just had to.
I got you.
Okay, come on.
But no, I'm just
80-20.
saying. And I'm learning. Even being the age that I am, I'm still learning these things in different ways. Now, I have a daughter who taught me a lot of this, but it was for a daddy-daughter relationship.
Right.
I look at this list and say, if I was to grade myself on this, I'm at 75%.
All right.
You know, I'm at 75%. But there's some things I probably have to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to work on it with that person because what it looks
Right.
like to them may not be what it looks like to you.
Right.
So you may say, or, you know, we talk about like the protect, the provide, all of that stuff. I may come to the table because, I mean, I've been taking care of myself 40 years now. I may not need you to put the check on the table and walk away like, you know, our grandparents did.
Right.
I may not need that, but like I need you to bring these coins together so we can like, you know, figure out what we're gonna do and make more, you know, so it may look different. Or somebody might, you know, I have friends that are stay-at-home moms. They, hey, bring the check home, I got you, like whatever. So it depends on what it looks like in that relationship and that you have the agreement with that person. I think that's the key. A lot of what I see now, especially on social media, everybody is giving these blanket, you know, things for what, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that. If he don't do this, girl, he ain't. And it's like, well, that's what you like. That don't even matter. Like, girl, bye. I don't even care about that. Right. If he don't have a passport, I mean, that's nice. That's great. We can always get him a passport. You know, like, I see just random stuff, and I'm like, but what about his character, though?
And I think we, like I said, we have these things that are so far from, these are relationship things.
Yeah.
These are characteristics of a relationship. Am I correct?
Yeah.
But when you talk about, do we have a passport? Yeah. Can he do this? And you're like, that gets in the way. To me, it gets in the way of getting to know someone on a deeper level. Mm-hmm. And it also can be a way to walk away from someone who may have all these other things but don't have a passport.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, your brother ain't got a passport. I don't know, he robbed the bank when he was 17. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. He got his life together, but just don't have a passport. But I think we get away from these things. Now, here's my question to you.
Okay.
How do you create or enter a relationship with someone focusing on these things? We fluff a relationship. We going out to eat.
Yeah.
We drinking.
Yeah, you don't spend that quality time
color,
to no. Yeah,
you
no.
know, what kind of dog you like?
Surface, very surface.
And you never get to these things. And when someone comes along and shake these things, for me, that's what happened. Someone started shaking these trees. And I was like, oh, this ain't surface. This is for a whole nother reason. They shaking these trees. They like, yo, bro, it's got to be deeper. And I wasn't feeling it. I was fluffing.
I'm going to be honest, because I come from two sides of that coin. I told you about the situation that I had last year. And those were some of the questions that was coming up. And I just did, honestly, I didn't have the answers because I wasn't focused on a relationship before that. Like, that whole situation just dropped out of the sky. It was just random. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. But I realized in the situation, like, okay, maybe I think God is trying to prepare me.
Right.
Because now I got to think, right? I got to, let me, lean in. So after I finally got the answers to the questions, and that person was gone, I met someone else, my little English boy. And I'm trying to ask him the questions, and he talking about flowers and balloons, and I'm like, what? Why are we dancing around? So the transparency wasn't there, and the openness wasn't there. The openness to connect wasn't there. Where I was ready, I'm like, okay, so what do you want from a relationship? What do you need from me? Da, 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 da. And he talking about some old whatever. So I think it takes two people
Right.
to come together
Right.
on one accord
Right.
at the same time
Right.
in the same place.
I agree, and I believe
Yeah.
that the universe will not leave you without that. I believe that as that one walked away, it cannot, because everything, this world is infinite.
Yeah.
So for you to think that if that opportunity was missed, it'll never come back around, but you will probably be more prepared and be able to see
yeah.
it when it does.
Because
show
when
up.
he asked me next time, I got
Right.
answers.
When it show up, you're gonna be like, "Oh, I know what this is. I know what this
Yeah.
is," and you'll be able to operate in a different manner.
Yeah.
Because this is just what happened to me the last couple of days. Is not new. It was like, dude, you've been asleep. This happened before. You've been asleep. Wake up. I was like, oh my God, okay. All right. It was the worst and the best thing that could ever happen. And it allowed me to step back, grow, and make other choices. And it's just, it was that person that said, hey,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay. I appreciate that. So I think people come in our lives. I could have never, last year I couldn't have told you about meeting you and our other counterpart. But it has been a blessing.
I'm telling you, man,
We
y'all,
have stood
woo,
in the gap for each other.
in so many
in
ways.
so many ways.
Like, y'all don't even know.
And
Y'all,
it's been
woo.
teaching. You guys have shared things with me that I probably didn't hear or wouldn't hear, but I heard you. So once again, people are always coming into your life and making you better.
Yeah.
If we have to accept that we're not perfect. But a lot of people believe that I'm perfect. So there's no room to grow when you're perfect.
That's right. So, my producer is back here telling me we got to wrap it up.
All right.
So, I told you, I gave you the floor this time to give me the 5 questions. Normally, if y'all been watching the show, at the end of the show, I always ask my guests 5 random questions. Oh, Lord, he got notes.
I wrote questions down, baby.
Oh. So Nelson is going to ask me the 5 questions, y'all. Pray for me because I don't know what this man finna ask me. But I'm going to yield my time. Like they say in church, I'm going to yield my time.
Yield your time.
I'm going to yield my time.
To
Nelson.
Congresswoman Waters.
I'm going to yield my time. So he
So,
can ask me. Okay.
first question. First question. Following the lines of some of the things we spoke about today.
Okay.
And this is for you.
Yes.
Do you believe that when the right person shows up, you will have grown enough to recognize them?
Yes. I'm certain. I have never been more certain. That was a good question, but yes, I'm certain of that.
Okay. Okay, that's number one. Number 2. When was the last time you shared your love with someone who couldn't return it back?
Last year.
Last year? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. If you could give one gift to one person to change their life, what would that one gift be? One gift, one person.
One person changed their lives. My mom is the person that comes to my mind.
Okay.
What would I give her? Man, I could give her so much. Do I have to have what I gotta give? Like, I gotta have it tangible now?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's one gift.
I would give my mom enough money to pay off her house, fully retire, and be able to travel to and do what she wants to do freely in her golden years. That's what I would do for her.
Okay.
Because that's what she did for me growing up. Like, she gave me everything. So I feel like she deserves everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the one gift someone can give you
Ooh.
to change your life?
A husband. A husband. A good one.
He's ready for that, huh?
Oh, I'm ready. Come on. Come on, baby. Hey.
Okay. This one's going to be kind of easy.
Okay.
Is we still going to be cool when I move?
Man, listen. No. I'm writing you off the list. I gotta find a replacement. Man, I've been thinking about that all week. So, oh man, y'all, Nelson is my neighbor. I'm not gonna cry. Ooh, hold on. Let me say something funny. Grab me back. Okay, so Nelson is my neighbor, and we met last September, October-ish. I remember. And you summed it up. We've been locked in since it's one of those situations. It's one of those relationships that I treasure and I cherish. And so to have somebody that lives in the same apartment building with you, that you can just run up the stairs, knock on the door, you know they're going to answer and let you in. We're going to sip some whiskey.
Right.
We might go have a cigar.
Right.
Or just, I'm sick, I need some put together or fixed. Like, you right there, and I'm there for you. And now you're going to be gone. I don't know what I'm going to do.
We're still in the group chat, man.
I know
It's the three of us. We good.
want the group chat. I don't want no group chat. You need to be accessible. But yes, we'll still be friends.
Oh, good. Okay. All right.
I can't let you go that easy.
All right.
Good questions.
Yeah.
All
What
right.
you like?
So, y'all, I promised you that at the end of the show, if you hung in there with me, first of all, thanks for watching, and thanks for y'all comments. Y'all was going off in these comments. I didn't say all of what y'all was saying because I'm like, okay, all right, I feel you, sis. But we gonna get back to that because guess what? Nelson is gonna be a regular on the show now. Somebody just said we need a part 3. Nelson didn't even know. I just told y'all. I just called him out. So now, even though you're moving, I'll at least see you once a month because we got to come to the table.
I'm gonna be around. We're gonna do this once a month. We're gonna keep this popping.
We're gonna keep this popping until we gotta get some things settled, and then you find a wife, I find a husband, we can end it. But I'm just kidding. But yeah, we'll be back next month with Nelson. But next week, we are bringing on my coach, my business coach, Miss Felicia Kelly of the Rich Black Woman Movement. This woman changed my life, y'all. I'm talking like under her tutelage, she taught me a lot about life, business, relationships. Because let me tell you something, she don't play about her husband, okay? She don't play about her husband. She's a real boss. She a real boss, but she don't play about her husband. So we're gonna bring her on the show. We're gonna talk about the Rich Black Woman Movement, what that looks like. And yes, it's more than just money. So I need y'all to tune in next week. And we're going to go deeper. We're going to talk. And then, of course, we're going to bring Nelson back on the show again. So I'll see y'all. Same bad time, same bad channel next week at 6 p.m. Thanks for watching the Bright Girls in Business show. Be sure to like, comment, and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe and smack the bell so that you get notifications each and every time I go live with a new episode. Until next time, watch one of the previous episodes and we'll see you next time.